This is Classic FM.
How do you deal with someone like me? Although I sang with a choir at university, I haven't done much since. I would naturally gravitate to the back and try to hide.
The back is the worst place for you to be, really, because
is it?
Yes, because everyone who is a strong singer sitting at the front means that you at the back wouldn't be able to hear properly. So you're much better off as somebody who is, let's say, a less experienced or weaker singer, coming to the front, sitting right in front of me and singing quietly and listening. I heard somebody said something brilliant to me recently about singing, which is that you have one mouth but you have two ears because you really need to listen. Ears are everything, and if they can't hear themselves properly, if as they're sometimes singing to a backing track, they'll be the first to say, "I can't hear. It's too loud. Turn it down. Or I need to be able to hear the rest of the choir. I need to be able to hear the kind of the logic of the whole sound." It's all about listening.
You have been hugely successful in teaching people to sing, teaching people to express themselves through music and sing out and gain confidence. What do you consider to be your greatest success?
It's a difficult one. I mean, there are lots of little successes that I really cherish along the way, and sometimes it's those moments when you're in a school and one child picks up an instrument for the first time, or those little epiphany moments. It's very much the rehearsals that I really enjoy, because you find these little wonderful moments. There's no question that standing on stage in front of the Queen, singing Wherever You Are, was a highlight, and a moment in the afternoon in the rehearsal, and Paul Mealer came up to me, having heard it, and said, "Oh, it's great." He said, "This should be Christmas number one," and I thought he was absolutely crazy at the time, and of course that did come true. But so that was an incredible success, and it felt like a great success on their behalf.
Now, you and the choir are performing at the Classic Brit Awards on Wednesday. Can you tell me what you're going to sing?
We're going to be singing the theme tune from Broadchurch, which was written by a composer called Olafur Arnalds. It's called So Close. It's a very pretty, slightly haunting song, and I'm giving it the kind of epic choral treatment. In fact, I was on the phone earlier to the percussionist to try to find as many enormous drums as we possibly can. The big sort of epic film score drums that really make the blood race. That's what I'm looking for, and it's a very so actually it's a dark piece, but also very beautiful.
It must be quite stressful being a conductor. How do you relax? How do you wind down and get away from the stresses? I think it's stressful in that I'm constantly on the move. There's always something going on. So I do have to make myself find time to not think about music. My wife often says to me, okay, you've got another 2 minutes talking about choirs, and then that's it. So, it's like anyone else. I like to stick on the television or read a book or just relax and get out of the house. I do like to get out of London. I do find that as soon as I come into London, there's a sort of psychic energy about the place that is just very intense. It's just everywhere, from the I don't know what it is, the sound of the buses or the aeroplanes going overhead. So I like to get out of London, go to see the sea, and take a deep breath. That's what I like to do. It's wonderful, yes, and walk on the cliffs and forget about everything.
Yes, and then of course I immediately get my headphones out and start listening to some music again. But it's a problem, but a lovely problem, to have music as your career and your hobby. You have to find other things to do, but I never ever think, oh no, I've got to go to work today, because there's always something that I'm excited about. There's always some element that sustains me. 2013
has been a very busy year for you. What does the rest of the year hold?
This has been an absolutely crazy year. We have the new series that I've almost finished filming, which will be out on BBC Two, Sing While You Work the second, which is bigger and bolder and crazier than ever. And that's been a wonderful experience filming that, so that's taken months. I've got a new series on in America that starts in November as well, so I'll be going out to Los Angeles to do promotion, which feels very grand, very exciting, quite fun. And the CD, and actually that feels like a quiet year in some ways, because last year was so ridiculous. So the 2012, the Diamond Jubilee, and the Military Wives kicking off, all of that stuff. So that was a very, very big year, in addition to the television series. So this year I've only done 3 things. We had a baby as well, so that's 4.
Almost as an afterthought.
Yeah, it's been quite busy.
Tell me about the new album, because I think that's coming out in early November.
It is. It's It's called Voices, Gareth Malone Voices. That's nice and simple, isn't it? And it's a sound world. It's a auditory experience. You put it on and immerse yourself. Every song on the album is a song that I love or has a point of interest that made me really want to experiment with it. It starts with a piece by the pop group Keane, but given the sort of King Singers treatment. And it ends with Fife Dangerfield singing a song called I Can't Make You Love Me, which is very haunting. And there are some beautiful moments on it. I worked with a producer called David Coston, who's more familiar with the kind of slightly left field pop world. He's worked with a group called Bat for Lashes and Everything. It's quite an experimental guy. He brought 26 microphones into the studio. Some of them were from the 1940s. There was a thing called a Decca tree hung over the choir. There was a microphone behind me, above me. They were close mics. So there was an amazing echo chamber that sends the sound round. So not everything was done in post-production as is often done. It was done kind of acoustically, so that was kind of fun. And then he went off and pressed lots of buttons and made lots of magic. And I think it's a really exciting... It's not how you would normally hear a choir produced, which I think is exciting, because I've often felt that with the recording choirs, you sometimes get the choir at a distance and you don't get that immediacy that you sometimes have where you're able, if you're miking a violin, for example, you're able to put the microphone so close to the violin that you can hear the woodiness. And it's very difficult to mic a choir like that. And I wanted to get that sort of very intimate, close mic sound, and then also enjoy the big spatial sound that we love for choir. So hopefully it will be a talking point album. It's certainly one that you can get lost in. I think my favourite moment on the whole album is a version of Nights in White Satin, where it starts from a very sort of muffled choral texture that I sort of modelled a bit on Steve Reich, and then it opens out onto a glorious chord, and that very much is kind of the vision for me, is to try to take a classic pop song like Nights in White Satin, the Moody Blues song, but give it this sort of grandiose choral texture.
Well, you've certainly sold it to me.
Good, I hope you like it.
I shall definitely be buying that.
Thank you.
And finally, I wanted to ask you about musical education in schools. Do you think schools should be doing much more to encourage children to learn music?
I've always felt it was a lottery in terms of who you get as your music teacher. That's always been my line on this, because I was lucky that I had a fantastic music teacher. I had a personality in front of me, and that made all the difference to me. And he was a personality who encouraged me to do all sorts of different projects, and my career has been like that, I think, as a result of his teaching, because I was doing jazz club, and I was doing orchestra, and I was doing choir, and I was composition, so I've always had a kind of finger in every pie. And if you've got someone like that at the helm, and who's passionate and given the space to do what they need to do by the head teacher, then I think you're on to a winner. I do find it's very hard to legislate for that, but I think that's the essential ingredient, is passion and excitement. And music has to be fun, it has to be a joy, and it isn't always when it's sort of stipulated. And I remember in my first 3 years at school, there was this awful period where everyone had to do music, and you knew that half of them just didn't care, and it was fairly painful for me as somebody who loved music and played piano and had lessons and was really engaged with it, to sit through these lessons where there was disruption and all the rest of it. So yes, schools should be doing more, but they should also make sure that it's fun, it's exciting, it's engaging, and that's down to, I think, just people really believing in it.
This is Classic FM.